On this week's episode of What's Up Weekly, we are giving you an inside look into the homecoming parade and how exactly the infamous candy stripes came to Indiana University.
Also, we are telling you why Beyonce started bleeding during her performance. Coming up.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's Up Weekly. I'm Sierra Hignite.
And I'm Sheila Riley.
As we all know, the past weekend was homecoming and Friday was definitely an evening of spirit and fun. IU alums and families crowded the streets by Memorial Stadium to watch the homecoming parade take place. Starting with a family-friendly pre-parade at 5 p.m., people gathered for games, food trucks, music, and more. Then at 6 p.m., the parade began marching down their new route on Woodlawn, starting at 7th Street, then making their way down to 17th Street. With the crowd mostly filled with IU alums and their children, they still show their love for the university by coming back every year for the parade.
Are you going to go to IU? Yeah. So I graduated in 2009 with a Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology. And actually I'm from Bloomington and stayed in Bloomington, so I've always been in Bloomington.
We used to live in Indianapolis.
We lived in Indianapolis for a little bit, but yeah, we're always here for all the football games and everything, and we love it, so.
The IU Alumni Association is a global organization that brings more than 650,000 IU graduates together to support one another and Indiana University throughout their lives. To find out more details about the upcoming events like this, you can check out their calendar of events online or follow IUAA for reminders and live updates.
If you watched the homecoming football game this weekend, you may have noticed the candy stripes that are on the Adidas jerseys that the team was sporting. Take a look at where these stripes originated.
The iconic Indiana University candy stripes. Although they're a very popular tradition here at Indiana University, their origin is not commonly known amongst the students. Do you know how the candy stripes became a thing here at IU?
No, I do not.
No, I don't.
I think I have an idea, but I'm not sure.
I do not, actually, if I have to be honest.
No, I do not. But I wish I did. I feel like I should.
The candy stripes began back in the 1920s when they were first seen on the Harlem Globetrotters shorts. They weren't brought to IU until the 1960s when they first appeared on the swimming and diving team. A few years later, the stripes were adopted by the IU basketball team, appearing on the team warm-ups in 1971. Today, the basketball team still sports the candy-striped warm-up pants that have now become a staple in many Hoosier fans' wardrobes. Although no one knows if Bob Knight adopted the stripes from the Globetrotters or from the swim team, one thing is for certain. Once the basketball team sported the stripes, they were here to stay.
Who would have thought the candy stripes would have been around for that long? And Hoosiers get excited because it's almost that time of year again to cheer on the basketball team, who will also be wearing the famous candy stripes.
Today, over 100 students gathered at IU's iconic Showalter fountain to spread an important message. At 12:09, it seemed like just an ordinary day at the fountain, but at 12:10, everything changed. Music began to play and students slowly gathered into a large dancing group, otherwise known as a flash mob. IU dance professor Mary Hoden Coniers has always wanted to choreograph a flash mob for her students, but could never think of the perfect idea.
I just kept waiting for the right opportunity, and my husband would bring me to work, and he's a doctor, and we would watch the kids along the bus route with their heads down in their phone, like all of them. And I kept looking at their posture, and I'm a dance teacher, and posture's like everything, right? And I was like, man, honey, we should do something about that. There's a really popular song by Andrew Grammer called Keep Your Head Up, and I thought, what a great combo.
And it was a great enough combo to get a turnout of 120 of her students, along with a crowd of spectators. Professor Coniers plans to create a YouTube video to spread awareness about the dangers of cell phones and bad posture. Well, coming up, an IU student starts a new shop on campus.
And despite her bleeding during her concert, Beyonce keeps performing. We've got the details after the break.
it's an honor to be here.
After suffering a season-ending injury in late March,
as you can see behind me.
Welcome back. In sight of what is being called the killer clown craze, a certain retail giant has decided to pull all clown masks and costumes off the racks. Target made the decision in light of the current climate around clown appearances and has released a statement saying that they are aware of the environment and that the costumes are removed both in-store and online.
Well, this is a huge relief. I mean, I know with Halloween coming up, the last thing that I wanted to see was any trick-or-treaters in clown costumes. You just don't want to even have that worry.
Absolutely not. And I was really worried just about people that are going trick-or-treating in general because I feel like it's a worry in general for people on Halloween, like people are in costumes.
Definitely.
Just super shady, but especially with this clown nonsense, I'm glad Target is at least trying to help.
Sounds like a good thing. Well, Beyonce performed at Jay-Z's Title X benefit concert in Brooklyn this weekend, and her performance was unforgettable. But this time, it was for more than just her singing voice. Vanity Fair reported Queen Bee's braid ripped one of her earrings out during her Haunted song. While Beyonce noticed the blood, she brushed it off and performed like a champ. Her fans, known as the Beehive, took to Twitter and made a hashtag with Beyonce and the pictures of the blood. And this isn't the first time that these graphic hashtags have been posted on social media. So it's just something that, you know, it can be scary for people. And you don't really want to see anyone get hurt. You don't want to see anyone hurt themselves, but you definitely don't want to see that on the internet.
Absolutely not. And this happened with Bieber a couple years ago, a very similar hashtag.
Okay.
People were doing similar things. And he, at some point, had to take a stand and say, hey, guys, I don't want you to do this. Like, don't hurt yourselves for me. I love that you support me, but please be safe. So it's always sad when these things happen, but at some point, I think the celebrity has to step in and say, hey, chill, like, pump the brakes a little bit.
I agree.
So I hope that Beyonce, if this keeps going, does step out and say something.
Definitely.
Well, speaking of celebrities, remember a while back when we had mentioned how candid Amy Schumer can be at her shows? Well, the New York Times estimated about 200 people walked out of Schumer's show after she pulled a fan up from the audience onto stage to ask why he supports Trump. Well, Schumer proceeded to call Trump names, which is what resulted in the fans walking out. Looks like even celebrities have to follow the golden rule about not talking about politics with friends or fans.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that that's something that politics, you know, you got to be careful when you're talking about it. You got to remember who you could be offending or, you know, what you're saying, because you definitely want to be respectful, but especially, you know, when you're addressing your fans.
Right. I mean, it's never bad to voice your opinion. That's part of being an American. You're allowed to do that. But I definitely think when you're in a celebrity position like that, she literally brought him onto stage, like questioned him hard, and then basically made fun of him for what he was saying, which I think is where you kind of need to draw the line.
I agree. So we all know that breakup texts are just not cool. And this week, Zayn was being accused of sending a breakup text to his former fiance, Perry Edwards. Perry exposes her ex-fiance, Zayn, and says that he broke up with her in a simple text. Zayn tells E! News that this is just not simply true. However, the details over their breakup are supposed to be explained in Perry's new book with Little Mix, and it's called Our World, and it comes out this week.
That's right, and I'm surprised that, I mean, their breakup was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so if that was really true and you have blown him out, you know, blown this out of proportion when it happened, because she was very vocal when they broke up and was like, yeah, we're broken up, said how he did it. And so I find it interesting that now she wants to say it was over a text.
That's a really good point. Also, he had the tattoo of her and had the whole tattoo removed and also all of this. It was very much public knowledge. So you would have You would have thought that detail maybe had been in there. So I don't know, something to think about.
We'll have to read the book to find out. Well, a new juice shop opened up in Bloomington, and it is also making waves on social media. Check it out.
In Bloom Juicery recently opened up on South Walnut. IU graduate J.R. Ricker started this company from the ground up. J.R. was inspired to open a juice company because of his healthy lifestyle.
I started to, appreciate healthy eating while I was on the track team, and started to drink green juices in the morning and green smoothies, and noticed like an increased level of energy and how I felt throughout the day. And from there, I kind of just got to a point where I knew I wanted to start a business here in Bloomington because I love the town of Bloomington.
In Bloom offers cold-pressed juices and smoothie bowls made from fresh, local ingredients. The visual appeal of these products has created a large social media following. Most of the marketing for In Bloom is done only through social media.
So we'll just try to encourage people to post on Instagram, get the word out. And honestly, that's pretty much how we've grown, is all from social media. We're a pretty low-budget company.
Junior Emma Vaughn made her first trip to In Bloom after seeing it on Instagram.
I actually found this place through Instagram. My friend sent me just a screenshot of their page, and it looked fun.
In Bloom keeps blooming well into the cold weather with their combination of healthy and Instagram-worthy products.
It's a cool, trendy thing right now, and I just wanted to taste it because you see it online all the time, you see it on Instagram, so it seems like it would be really tasty.
To find out more about In Bloom Juicery, check them out on Instagram or visit their website at inbloomjuicery.com.
Well, that's all we have for you for this week's episode of What's Up Weekly. Tune in next week for all the local and entertainment news.
And don't forget to follow us on social media, like us on Facebook at iOS TV News, and follow us on Twitter at What's Up Weekly IU. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.